Alright folks, first mag here with the Arex Delta L. We'll see how it does. That's about as good as you can do for a first mag. Anyway guys, of course we're going to throw an optic on there, do a bunch more shooting, but so far so good. Welcome back everybody. As you probably guessed from the title of the video and the thumbnail, we are going over this pistol that you see in my hand right here. This is the Arex Delta L. Now this is essentially the second generation of the Arex Delta series. The first one was just a Glock 19 size one, and now in the Gen 2 version, if you will, they have a Glock 17 size one, which is what this is. Glock 19 size one, and eventually, from what I understand, there will be a smaller one in production as well, but as of when I'm recording this video, that is not the case right now. So those are the two that are offered. These are optics ready, which is one of the changes as well. And there's also some grip changes to it, but it also has the same really nice striker-fired trigger as the original. So I suppose while we're getting into the details, let's get up close and personal, check that out, and then come back at the end and kind of let you know what I think of it. Before we get into the details, I wanted to thank the sponsor of today's video, and as you guessed from the background behind me, that is Sonoran Desert Institute, or SDI as a lot of folks call them. It is an online university that teaches various topics and gives degrees in various topics. You guys can probably see them here on the screen, and a lot of folks view it as a great way to get into the firearms industry, and I would agree with that. I currently have a friend who is a SDI student, and he was over here probably a week or two ago and borrowing a bunch of different weapon lights, and the reason is because he was making holsters, and the reason he was making holsters is because that was a project that they had to do for one of the classes he was enrolled in at SDI. So I don't know about you, but that's certainly cooler than what I did when I was in college. So if you guys are interested in what SDI has to offer, there will be a link down below in the video description and here on your screen. You guys can check them out. As promised, we're going to get into the details and start out here at the bottom and then work our way up for some semblance of order. We'll drop our magazine out. It's clear, it is. And the magazines that come with the L are going to be this 19 rounder here with this extended base plate. And it also comes with a flush fit 17 rounder. And these are made by Mrgunsngear, very high quality magazines. So that certainly is a good thing. The grip texture on this one is changed from the first gen. We'll show you that here in a second. And honestly, I like it a little bit better. I like the first gen too, but this one is improved in my opinion. It just gives you a little bit more traction on there, but not so much that it's going to be abrasive should you decide to carry it inside the waistband. We do have these inserts here that let you adjust the width here of the grip. Several of them come with the gun. This is a large on there right now because I have relatively large hands and the gun is thin. We'll get into that here in a second when we compare it to the Glock, but it's very thin. So I had to add that on there so that way I'd have a little bit of room to fill in there with my second hand when firing. But the beauty of it is you can set it up for your hands and your preferences. Magazine release is ambidextrous on this gun. Typically speaking, I'm not a fan of ambi mag releases because it allows you to bump them accidentally. Let's say you're a right-handed person carrying inside the waistband and you lean up against a wall or something like that. In theory, that could happen right there, and you might not know it, and then your gun becomes a single shot. But these ones are very low profile, almost flush fit, so the odds of that happening are almost nothing. It's not a concern of mine, put it that way, on this particular gun. And I've actually read on forums, some guys have said that they've had a hard time getting the mags to release, probably because they don't have their grip set up for the right size. But that's a good thing in my opinion. You don't want your mags releasing when you don't want them to, obviously. And then our slide lock and slide release here is ambidextrous as well. So all of the controls on the gun are ambidextrous. It's nice and low profile. Some folks, myself included, shooting with a high thumb grip on some guns will accidentally actuate that. I've never had that happen on this gun. So that is a good thing, in my opinion. Takedown lever here. And then we have these little thumb placement points there, memory pads, if you will. I do like those as well. 1913 grip. A rail up front rather, with 3 different slots. Moving up to the slide, it is nitrided, which is nice for folks that don't know. It gives you good corrosion resistance. It's also a a very durable finish in terms of wear, rust, all of those sorts of things. And it actually gets into the metal itself. So even if you start to wear it, like back here where we have some wear marks already developing, the nitride process treats the metal beyond the black parts that you can see. So really is a very, very nice finish on there. We have front serrations and rear serrations. They're good. I have no issues running the slide at all. Not a problem with this particular gun. We do have a loaded chamber indicator, so if there was a round in the chamber right now, this would be sticking up. Obviously, it's not, so there's no round in the chamber. Sights on it are good. They're a black, plain, notched rear there, and then just a simple white dot. They are all steel, and they are compatible with FN 509 or SIG pattern sights. So one of the things I thought was odd about this, and we'll just get into this now I suppose, is that the optics mount here, with an optic on there rather, you can't co-witness. But looking around on forums, some people don't want co-witness. Some people say they want a clean sight picture with their red dot and don't want anything in there. So I suppose that's probably why they did it. Me personally, I want a co-witness, so you can do that because, again, there's commonly available sites out there for it and plenty of options in that regard. Speaking of mounting optics, this is how it comes from the factory with this plate on there. So that way, of course, you don't have to run optics if you don't want to. But if you want to, there's plenty of options. There's a ton of different aftermarket optics that will work with it. It comes with all these different inserts here. These are polymer of note. However, the actual lockup system is going to be steel on steel. So basically, take this one for example. You'll put their steel bolt in there, and then these pieces here will screw down into it, and the parts that screw into the actual gun itself, again, are all steel, but it is a polymer material for what it's worth. Some folks have issues with that. I did multiple one-handed manipulations with it off of both a 2x4 and my belt with the Holosun with ACSS reticle. Had zero issues with it. So seems like a plenty durable system to me. Here are the 3 different inserts that come with it, as well as the large one there that we have on the gun. Like I said, I have the largest on there, but you can shrink it down and make it smaller if you have smaller hands. And then it also comes with this cleaning kit, which is actually a pretty decent cleaning kit. It's got everything you would need outside of your CLP to maintain the gun. On the topic of maintenance, the takedown procedure is pretty simple. Basically, we're going to verify that we are clear, no magazine in the gun, and we're going to point in a safe direction, pull the trigger. At this point, we grab the slide, pull back about 1/8 of an inch, pull down on these 2 tabs, release, and it will come up. It doesn't come off. Just note that it doesn't slide off like some guns. It comes straight up. Looking inside there, it's pretty typical striker fired stuff, nothing too complex. But again, all of these parts here are nitrided for durability, corrosion resistance, etc. Our recoil spring and guide rod there is steel. Our barrel itself is cold hammer forged, which I know a lot of folks like, myself included. It has that nice wide feed ramp on there for feeding hollow points. We did feed a number of HSTs, both 124 and 147 grain through it. Zero malfunctions at all to speak of.
Red Army standard steel case. See how it likes it, if it does. Ate it just fine.
If you look in there, you guys will see there's no chatter marks. Trying to get it in the sun for you. There you go. There's no chatter marks, no machine marks, nothing like that. Very, very smooth finish. Very well done fit and finish pistol. And putting it together, of course, is the same, just in the opposite order. For those of you who have experience with the Gen 1, just want to kind of show you some of the differences there in the frame. Obviously, this would be the M style. This is the L style. But the grip is very, very different, as you can see. The texturing is different. The angles are different. This one's a little bit more smooth all the way around. This one's got some harsher angles to it. Honestly, I like both grips. They both point naturally for me. They both feel good in my hand. But a lot of people, from what I've read, have said they prefer the smoothness of this, so take that for what it's worth. They also, on the new M model, have extra slots there, so that way it just gives you more options for mounting lights, lasers, etc., whereas this one, of course, only had one. Magazines are not interchangeable, but on the new Delta M, it does work with CZ P10 magazines. That's not the case with the L. The trigger, though, still fantastic. Exactly the same. For a striker fire trigger, it's definitely one of the better ones out there on the market. Basically, we have our trigger safety there. you have your take up, and then your wall breaks super clean on my scale. It breaks right at 4 to 4.5 pounds each time. Super tactile, super audible reset. And you guys can see there, it also has the striker indicator, and that'll tell you that it is cocked. When you pull the trigger, it actually comes out a little bit. And what's good about that is when you're reholstering, particularly for those of you guys who appendix carry, you can just put your thumb on there, make sure nothing's getting caught on your trigger. And just, if it is, you'll know about it, and you're not going to blow your femoral artery out. So that is a nice little feature. And then once you press it, it disappears, letting you know it is not caught. As I mentioned earlier, these are essentially the same size in terms of dimensions, with the exception of width, as the Glock series. So here we have our Delta M lined up compared to the Glock, and you guys can see it's just a much thinner pistol overall. Of course, the same is true here with the L. At this point in the video, I think we've covered most of the important features of it, outside, of course, of cost and reliability. In terms of cost, I should mention that this pistol was sent out to me for this review by the folks at Global Ordnance. They are the importer of the pistol. However, it's sold online several places, so if you look around, you'll see it at Global Ordnance, of course, but also in other retailers. So price point right now is coming in right around $515, give or take. And that's a little bit more expensive than the previous Delta. Of course, we have the optics mounting system, which adds some cost to it. So there is that. But compared to other competitive offerings out there in the market, it's priced well, in my opinion, if you just look around. Like, try to find a Glock Gen 5 optics ready gun for anywhere near that price point. Yeah, good luck with that. So in terms of that, it's definitely priced right, reliability wise. I've had zero malfunctions with any ammo. We ran through it. Of course, the majority of it has been Minuteman Munitions. They are a ammo sponsor here on the channel. We definitely appreciate that. We have right about 800 rounds through it at this point. Again, zero malfunctions. I've had zero malfunctions with my original Delta. And from everything I've read online, that's pretty common. Everyone seems to say they're very, very reliable guns. The actual shooting experience of it is pleasant for several reasons. Number one, really good trigger, like we mentioned. Additionally, it has a nice low bore access. So as the slide is reciprocating, it's going right over basically where you can grip it, instead of having to grip down here and having that flippy motion going on. So the sights track really well. It gets back on target really well. And again, there's just a lot you can do with it in terms of setting it up with optics, different sights, etc. Lots of aftermarket support in regard for that. In terms of holsters, there are dedicated holsters for this. However, this one fits in all of my Glock holsters, especially ones that have a light on it. In Kydex ones, it's a little bit loose, but if you put a light on there, it's tight in all of them that I've tested it for. That said, don't rely on me saying that. Just verify that it will fit before you order a holster. So I think that's pretty much all I've got for you guys. All in all, it's been a good gun. Very happy with it. If you have any questions about it, you can also post those down below in the comments section. You can also post them at my various social media accounts here. Facebook's still the best place to reach me, although I don't see all the messages over there like I used to. I don't know why. It might come back one day, who knows, but I reply to all the ones that I can see over there. We also have an email list basically that goes out with daily deals should this thing go on sale. We'll blast it out to you guys. That email list to sign up is on your screen right now. And then we also have another email, which is basically just all of the videos since the last one. Because even if you're a subscriber right now, YouTube sometimes isn't notifying my subscribers when I put new content up. So that way we have an email that just goes straight to you to make sure that you see the content that I put up that you choose to subscribe to and apparently want to see. That wind is going nuts. But that's all I got for you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Hopefully the wind's not too bad, and we'll see all of you in the next video.